Let's move on to revenue recognition for e-commerce companies. First of all, let's understand what is revenue. Revenue is nothing but gross inflow of cash or receivables or other consideration which are arising in the ordinary course of activities out of sale of goods or rendering of services, or even use by others the enterprise resources, and if that is going to yield interest, royalties, dividends, even that will be classified under revenue. Now, if you look at from e-commerce companies point of view, the main sources of revenue are membership and subscription, merchandising activities, advertising activities, and other services related to web hosting, content selling. Fine. Now, where do we have the basic principles of revenue recognition, say from Indian context? It's available in Accounting Standard 9, which talks about revenue recognition, and that standard is also applicable for recognizing revenue of e-commerce companies. So, how this revenue is recognized? Let's see that in next session. In this session, let us see how revenue is recognized in case of e-commerce companies when goods are being sold or when services are rendered. Okay, first let's focus on sale of goods. In case of sale of goods, revenue recognition is made when performance is achieved. That is, when do we say performance is achieved? For that, certain conditions have to be fulfilled. Let's see. Number one, the seller of goods should have transferred the property in goods to the buyer for a price. Okay, so the condition one is the seller should have transferred the property ownership in goods to the buyer for a price, and you can also recognize when the significant risk and rewards associated with the ownership is transferred to the buyer and seller has no effective control over the goods transferred, which are usually associated with the ownership. So we are seeing two things here. That is, when property, that is ownership in goods, is transferred to the buyer for a price, then we can say the performance is achieved and the revenue can be recognized. Whereas the second case, it's something unique. You are not transferring the property, you are not transferring the ownership, but the risk and rewards related to the ownership, if it is transferred to the buyer and if seller has no effective control over the goods transferred, which are usually associated with the ownership, then at that point also we can say the seller has achieved the performance and the revenue can be recognized. Okay. The next important condition is there should not be any significant uncertainty existing about the amount of consideration on the sale of goods. Okay, because you have sold the goods, but there should not be any significant uncertainty whether that amount will be received or not. So if these two conditions are fulfilled, then sale of goods can be recognized as revenue. Next, we'll also talk about the transactions involving provision of services. In case of provision of services, the revenue is recognized and measured either under completed service contract method or under proportionate completion method. Okay, whichever method relates the revenue to the work that is accomplished. Okay, so when do we say that performance is achieved? Okay, the performance will be considered as achieved when there is no significant uncertainty about the amount of consideration which is derived from rendering the services. This is similar to a condition what we had for sale of goods as well. Okay, so these two are the broader parameters, and we'll take certain examples with more specific reference to e-commerce business, but let's understand this is the broader classification for revenue recognition. In case of sale of goods, recognition happens when performance is achieved, that is, seller has transferred the property and here, or we can say he has transferred the risk and rewards, and there is no significant uncertainty. Whereas in case of provision of services, it can be either on the basis of completed service contract method or proportionate completion method, whichever is relating the revenue with the work accomplished, and performance will be considered as achieved only when there is no significant uncertainty about the amount of consideration derived from rendering of services. When does risk and rewards get transferred to the customer, especially in case of e-commerce companies, and why we should understand that? Because revenue recognition is linked with that as well. Okay, even if you're not transferring the property, but if you're transferring the risk and rewards associated with the ownership, if that is transferred, then you have to recognize revenue. So now we are trying to answer this question: when does risk and rewards are getting transferred to the customer? And we know revenue is one of the important metric for e-commerce companies, because if you look at the valuation of e-commerce companies, they're all revenue multiples. Okay, so revenue recognition is very critical, and in that we have an accounting issue, especially determining the timing of revenue recognition, when we should recognize the revenue, and number two, how we should present it. Should we present it gross or should we present it net? Okay, and these e-commerce companies are actually accepting the payments through credit cards, internet banking, debit cards, cash on delivery, and the delivery responsibility is with e-commerce company in most of the cases. So all this gives rise to the question: when risk and rewards are getting transferred to the customer, and this is relevant for B2C model as well as B2B model. Now, what are the issues we can encounter? Number one, who is bearing the insurance cost or risk? Number two, what are the repercussions of sales return on accounting? Let's try to understand this. Who bears insurance cost or risk? Let's take in two scenarios. First, let me take you through scenario one. Here, this e-commerce company is tying up with a logistic provider, and this logistic provider is going to bear the insurance risk and cost. In such case, the e-commerce companies, they can give a treatment, that is, they can recognize the revenue when they dispatch the goods from the warehouse, because the risk and reward is transferred. Why? The logistic providers are taking care of the insurance risk and cost, so the treatment is e-commerce companies can recognize their revenue when they dispatch the goods from the warehouse. So this is scenario one, where you have a tie-up with logistic providers. Let me also take you through scenario two, where the cost of delivery is inbuilt in the pricing and the cost of transport is borne by the e-commerce entity. In that case, the risk of delivery, the risk of loss is still with e-commerce company only. So the treatment is you can recognize the revenue only when the product is delivered to the customer, because the risk or the loss is still with the e-commerce company only. Okay, so this is the issue with regard to the insurance cost or risk. Then let us also look at the repercussions of sales return on accounting. I'm going to take you through two scenarios. Scenario one, where an option is given to the customer to return the goods sold, and in some cases the customer even has the right to return the goods. So we have uncertainty about the possibility of return. So when we should recognize the revenue, the treatment is like this: you should not recognize the revenue till the shipment is accepted by the customer, or till the time period for rejection has elapsed. Okay, till such time you cannot recognize the revenue. Okay, so if you're giving an option to the customer to return the goods, or if they have the right to return the goods, then wait till the shipment is accepted by the customer, or till the time period for rejection has not lapsed. Okay, so this is scenario one. Then we have scenario two. Here, the e-commerce companies, based on their past experience, they can make a reliable estimate of amount of goods that will get returned. Then the treatment is they should recognize revenue only for the items that are not expected to be returned. Okay, so these two are the scenarios, or we can say the issues associated with the transfer of risk and rewards to customers. It's a case study where we are going to understand whether e-commerce company should go for gross billing or net billing. Let's read out. An e-commerce company purchases traded goods from wholesalers. It would sell these goods to the end customer and may or may not carry the associated risk, as it purchases goods from wholesaler only when it receives order from the end customer. However, it may bear the risk of those inventory items that have been returned by the customers. You have to determine the revenue recognition for e-commerce company. Of course, they have to recognize the revenue, but now the question is whether they should recognize only the gross revenue or net revenue, because they don't have significant inventory risk. Because they don't have significant inventory risk, we cannot come to a conclusion that they can go for net billing, because there are other factors like the credit risk is borne by this e-commerce company. If the customer does not pay, it's e-commerce company which is going to take a hit. Then it's this e-commerce company which is responsible for fulfilling the order. It should provide goods to the customer, and it has direct pricing discretion. It can decide at what price this product should be sold, and it also has discretion in selecting the supplier or wholesaler. Okay, so in this case, the e-commerce company should reflect gross billing to its customer as its revenue. Another case study for understanding gross billing or net billing in case of e-commerce company, let's go through. An e-commerce company is a travel agent that sell travel tickets through e-commerce platform. Travel agents sell airline tickets to the public generally at a price determined with reference to the market rate, but often pay the airline a discounted amount. The travel agent does not bear any general inventory risk because it does not carry tickets as its inventory and buy tickets only when it receives orders or booking from customers. The question is, what should be the revenue of the e-commerce company acting as a travel agent? Because this e-commerce agent is selling tickets to the customers and it is buying the ticket from the airline. So should it book the ticket amount plus the fee which it collects from the airline as its income, or should it book only the fee what it is collecting as its income? How to understand? Let's go through. Here we understand there is no significant inventory risk because it is not holding any inventory of tickets. It is purchasing tickets when customers are placing an order. But what we have to understand here is this airline agent is also not responsible for services related to the ticket because it is the responsibility of the airlines. So in this way, this case study is different from the earlier one, because in earlier case study also that e-commerce company did not have any significant inventory risk, but it is responsible for services. It is also bearing credit risk. It is responsible for service. It should ensure the product is delivered to the customer. It is going to decide the pricing. It is going to decide the supplier. But here it is not responsible for service. Service is going to be rendered by the airlines. So what it does is it is providing service on behalf of various airlines and it earns a fee from those airline companies. So here the revenue should reflect the fees only and it should not be the gross bill amount. Okay, only the fee should be recognized as a revenue. Now let's make a small change in the question. Will your answer change if the e-commerce company bears the credit risk, say when corporate customers have account with the travel agent and settle the account only after the travel agent has paid the airline for the ticket? So here credit risk comes into picture, but the credit risk alone is not a determining factor and it does not compel the agency to reflect gross billing. That is, still they can continue with the net billing itself, that is they can show only the fee as income.